You lead, Kathy. I'm here to support.
So we do have a few attendees, it actually looks like, so that's great. So hello everyone, if you're just joining us for this webinar, we are here with some representatives from the College of Engineering. So I'm letting some people come in.
Good.
We have 13 attendees with us today, it looks like, so that is great. Numbers are jumping up. Give them, I know it takes a second to let people into the Zoom room. So welcome everyone that's here today. My name is Lindsay Snow. I am with New Student and Family Services. I'm an assistant director in that office, and I'm kind of here to moderate any questions that you all have as attendees for this session today. So just some housekeeping notes. We can't see or hear you, so your microphone is off. We don't have a video camera if you're an attendee today, but we are going to use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. You'll see a Q&A box. You can go ahead and click on that, and then you can type in any questions you have throughout the presentation as our representatives are speaking, and we'll get to those at the end of the session. We'll do some Q&A time. So I'll go ahead and let you all kick it off and introduce yourselves, and then we'll go from there.
All right, so good morning and welcome to the Partnership for Success session on how to help a College of Engineering students. My name is Kathy Blatt. I am the Assistant Dean for Student Experiences here in the college. I am a proud alumna and I have been in the university for about 20 years. My co-host is Sherman Mumford. So Sherman, would you like to introduce yourself right now? Unmuted.
Well, thank you, Kathy. My name is Sherman Mumford. I am a lecturer and an academic advisor in the College of Engineering. I too am a proud alumna of UNC Charlotte. I was a transfer student and had a great experience here, and hopefully I can share some points and tips today with you.
Thanks, Sherman. So I consider you to be our partners in the success of our students. So that's why I labeled this presentation that way. And the purpose of this session is to give you information that you need and a few strategies so you can help your students as they start their new journey. Sherman and I are part of an office that is called the Office of Student Development and Success. And we are just a group of individuals committed to helping your students in their journey. In our office, we have several engineers that worked in industry before, like Sherman and myself, and then we have come back here to help students as they pursue their degrees. We also have very highly trained student success personnel. And our office works not only to help students transition into the college, but also when they're ready to do internships and co-ops or look for a full-time job. We help them transition out. We also have Director of Industrial Solutions Lab, which will work at getting industry projects that students can work on during their senior capstone course. And we offer a variety of support programs that we will be talking about later in the presentations. So your students are going to interact with us in a variety of ways because, again, we definitely are a hub for first-year students, but we're there through their whole career. So in today's presentation, like I said, I'm going to give you some general information about our college. Then we're going to talk about some success strategies. I'm going to give you some ideas on how can you help us, and if we have time, I'll share some of our college resources, but I want to leave some time for your questions mainly. So let's just get started. And, you know, I want to congratulate you for having your student admitted into the College of Engineering. You know, and when we get to September, your students will be starting their new journey. We know that your students come from different paths. Some of them may be from high school, but there may be some parents of transfer students here. But more than likely, this is going to be different than the experience that they had before. So I just want to talk briefly about some of those differences. If you are a parent or a significant other of a student who was in high school, you know, there are some differences here in the campus compared to what they had before. You know, in high school, they spend about 6 hours a day in class, you know, between 7 and 2. Here is almost half of the time during the week that they will be in class. So if they spend 30 hours a week when they were in high school, here it will be maybe about 15 hours. And it is because we anticipate that they're going to do most of their work out of the class instead of in the class. Attendance may have been required in high school. It is not required here. Some professors take attendance, but some do not. You probably reminded your students about the responsibilities and their assignments, but when they come here, they're pretty much on their own. So they're going to have to balance their priorities and set those priorities. And manage their time and set up their own schedules. You know, tests may be a little different here. In high school, a lot of times the tests are pretty much a reproduction of what was taught. Here, students are going to have to apply what they have learned. As engineers and engineering technologists and construction managers, students are going to be solving problems, and a lot of times the solution to the problems is not definitely in the back of the book. So there are problems that we don't even know what they are, even like the problems we're facing right now. So it's very important that they know how to apply that knowledge instead of just, you know, okay, this is problem A, let's find the solution. And probably a lot of your students, even from what they have been telling us through the SOAR sessions, getting good grades did not require a lot of effort. A lot of your students are telling us that they study about 10 hours a week. They can anticipate to study maybe 3 times that when they're here. So good grades are hard to get, and they require a lot of work. So Sherman, would you like to share some things for transfer students in case we have some transfer in the audience?
Yes, for transfer students, it is really important that you make sure that your transfer credits are in. So you want to check with your community college and be sure that that information has been submitted to UNC Charlotte. And then you want to take ownership and actually verify your transcript. So take some time to check your advising transcript to see that those credits are actually on your transcript. And then you can actually take action and contact your community college if you need to make some adjustments. Let me throw in one other thing that students can also do. Several of our transfer students may actually be older students, so I don't want to leave you out of the conversation as well. But we do have an office of adult students and evening services. So I'd like for you to take advantage of that opportunity as well. They're typically for students that are 24 or older. So from a transfer standpoint, a lot of our conversation is geared towards some of the older students.
All right. So what we see as a consequence of a transition is that students are going to find a difference in GPA when they come here. So for example, for the students that came in last fall, their average high school GPA was about 4.014, but at the end of their fall semester, their GPA was a 3.0. So we see this throughout the years. Students can anticipate maybe a drop of 1 point in their GPA when they come to the university in the College of Engineering. You know, and some of this can be explained because we don't have AP courses that can help you pull maybe a lower grade into a higher GPA. So students are going to have to make some adjustments based on that. Similarly for transfer students, we see that there is a slight difference in GPA. So the average transfer GPA for the students that came last fall was a 3.149. And after the first semester here, it went down to 2.9, almost 3. So very slight difference, but again, just an indication that there are some transition issues there that students need to prepare for. So why is it important to talk about this? In the college, we have some specific GPA requirements, meaning that students are going to have to meet a certain GPA to remain in our college. So students who are in civil engineering, computer engineering, any of the engineering majors would need to have a 2.0 GPA at the end of their first semester in order to stay here. And for the engineering, technology, and construction management, their GPA needs to be a 1.75. What this means is if students do not meet those requirements at the end of their first semester, they cannot stay in our college. Also, at the end of their first year, students need to have a 2.5 if they're an engineering major, or they need to have a 2.0 if they have technology majors or construction management. So encourage your students to make their best grades in their first semester, in their first year, so they will not get into trouble with regards to GPA to remain in the college. In addition to GPA requirements, we have some course requirements. So students need to make a C or better in all their courses. So in other words, D is not a passing grade for our engineering courses. For some liberal studies in science and social electives, so students can make less than a C, but it depends on their major. Students also need to pass all their courses within 3 attempts, and in some of the departments, when they move up, is only 2 attempts. So again, we want to make the best grades from the start, and we require that the students complete their freshman curriculum courses within 3 semesters. You know, all these requirements are based on the research that we've done with our students. We want to make sure that they progress and that they graduate on time. So we have talked about some of our policies, let's put it that way. Now I want to talk a little bit about the plans and the map to navigate this journey. So students, your students, when they come to SOAR, they've been getting academic plans, and this can be found on the website on that link that I put in there too. I mean, they won't look like that, but they have the same information. So students who are in engineering you can see the different courses that they will be taking in the first semester and the second semester. And I know there was a question about that that you sent us about what would students will be taking. The good thing about engineering is that our academic plans are very prescriptive. You know, I was a secondary advisor in the past for other majors, and it's kind of difficult to know what courses to take because students have so many options. In engineering, they don't have a lot of options. But also the bad thing about engineering and engineering technology is that we are very prescriptive. And the reason is that a lot of our courses and the knowledge builds on each other. So you can see that you have Calculus 1 in the first semester, Calculus 2 in the second semester. So you need to pass Calc 1 to go into Calc 2. And the reason is because you need that knowledge. And you see Intro to Engineering 1 and Intro to Engineering 2. So everything builds on each other. So it's very important that the students get a good grasp of the courses because they're going to need that knowledge in future courses. Another thing that I want to point out here is that you can see that these majors are sort of similar, but usually by the second semester, the courses start deviating for some of the majors. So the sooner your student know what major they want to pursue, the better, because they can get behind if they do not start in the right major. Now I'm just going to share some from the engineering technology and construction management. What you can see from these academic plans is students just jump right into their majors. So it's even more important that students know what major they want to go into, because otherwise it will delay their graduation. And you can see that it's very similar in terms of like you have like pre-calculus and calculus. So a lot of our courses are very sequential. There are a lot of prereqs and correqs. So it's important that students know their academic plans and, and are aware of the courses that they need to be taking to progress and succeed in their major. I'm just going to flash the fire protection and fire safety programs, just so you can get a sense of what courses that the students take. And, you know, and again, this kind of the same theme that I've been saying, that they build on each other, and that the knowledge needs to be acquired very deep, you know, so they can apply it in this following semester. So how can you help us in this? Again, encourage the students to get familiar with the progression requirements, not only right now when they're with us, but once they move into their specific majors. You know, as I said, a lot of our programs, there are prerequisites, so students need to do well in one course before they move to the next. So it's important that they get the help in the courses early. You know, find tutoring, find whatever resource will help you to make it through that course. Get to know your professors. They're a good resource for you to do well in the classes. And also they're good references when you're looking for a job, or if you're looking for grad school, or, you know, they can help you identify, they can help your student identify those schools or those jobs that they are maybe looking into. You know, get familiar with their academic plan. Sometimes students register for a course because their friend was taking that course. It may not be the same for your program. It may not be the same for your catalog. So the best person that can answer those questions are their advisors. So tell your students to get to know his or her advisor, and just contact them when they want to drop a course or take a course. And you know, just don't make those decisions on your own, because it could delay your graduation or set you back. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Encourage your students to read their UNCC email. That's how we communicate with them, not only about deadlines or things that are coming up, but also about opportunities. They might be scholarships, internships, co-ops, or campus jobs. I mean, we're constantly, even in our office, hiring students to be TAs, and that's how we do it. You know, we don't necessarily use text messages or personal emails. We only use the UNCC email. Sherman, would you like to add anything for this aspect of the presentation? Or you're good?
No, I'm actually answering some of the questions that are coming
Okay,
through on the back
perfect.
end. So,
Perfect. Okay, so I keep going.
yes.
All right, so now I'm gonna switch gears into more of the strategies for success. So your students have demonstrated to us that they have talent. You know, they've made it this far, they've been accepted into the college, so we're confident that they can do this. But like I said, there will be some differences when they come here. The College of Engineering degrees are challenging. You know, they're very, I don't know, they're exciting about what the job that they're going to be doing and the things that they're going to have access to. But to get there, you know, there are going to be some obstacles and some different things that students are going to face. So it's going to take some resilience and some persistence and some hard work, you know, to remain focused in that in College of Engineering degree. So I like this quote from Albert Einstein that says, "It's not that I am so smart, but it's just that I stay with problems longer." And that's what it's going to have to require from our students, you know, and of course they are talented. I mean, we have no doubt that Einstein was talented too, but again, to achieve sometimes those goals, you're going to have to put the effort and be willing to remain focused. So I am going to talk about what people now refer to non-cognitive factors. You know, students' academic success depends on a lot of factors. And, you know, a lot of times we measure SATs and ACTs and GPAs to determine if somebody's going to be successful. But research done by like Angela Duckworth and Carol Dweck, and you know, I encourage you to look at their TED Talks, because they talk about some of these things, that sometimes the students that have the highest SATs or the highest GPAs are not necessarily the ones that perform the best. And again, this is good news and bad news. You know, it's a good news because maybe if your student does not have the high SAT, you know, there are possibilities that they can be very successful. And, you know, but again, it's bad news sometimes for people that may have some very high SATs, and when they come to campus, you know, they may find difficulties. So that's why we need to intervene. Um, so students are going to have to become like new kinds of learning, and not only being able to get dominion over the content knowledge, but they're going to have to develop some uh, behaviors, some mindset, some acquire some learning strategies that will help them succeed when they come here. So let's start talking about some of those. And some of this is, you know, they're very like the obvious in a way. You know, yeah, they have to go to class, they have to do their homework. We don't always collect it and we don't always grade it, but students are responsible to do their homework. I mean, the homework is for them. The more that they see certain material, the more that they would learn it. You know, it's not just going to class and maybe being on their phones or their computers, but it's paying attention, taking notes, participating. You know, there are a lot of our classes now have active learning activities, so they need to be involved so they can, again, acquire the knowledge, and of course, studying. But like I said, engineering requires perseverance, and a lot of times people refer to this as grit. And Angela Duckworth have done a lot of work on this. And grit uh, is that passion and that perseverance for the long haul. It's like when you work really hard to make the goal a reality. So you're able to overcome some of the obstacles or the distraction because you want to get that goal. And you may have seen that study on the marshmallow with, you know, when they put some kids and they give them a marshmallow and they say, if you wait 10 minutes to eat the second, you know, if you wait 10 minutes before you eat the marshmallow, we'll give you another one. And, you know, and some little kids were able to wait, but others couldn't resist the temptation and they ate the marshmallows. So is that kind of that same thing with engineering? You know, is that delay gratification? You know, you may have to spend most of your Saturday studying, but you know, you can just trying to say, okay, but when I finish this, I will go out or I will do and play video games or something. So being able to have that self-discipline and that self-control is definitely a great skill to have in engineering. When we tell our students that they had to study between 2 and 3 hours per hour that are in class, you know, again, it will take that self-discipline and control to be able to do that. So one good thing that you can do, that students can do for this, is surround themselves with other College of Engineering students. Most of them will have the same demands on their schedules, and it's easier to, you know, to see yourself doing that instead of thinking, oh, why am I spending so much time studying, you know, while these other people are not. The other thing that students need to develop is an academic mindset, or you know, more of what is called the growth mindset. And Carol Dweck, again, that I mentioned earlier, has done some work in this. And this is kind of like, you know, when you hear people say, I am not good at math, Carol Dweck says that we should say not yet, you know, or I didn't do well in this class, and said, you know, not yet, meaning that your ability or your can be changed if you're willing to put the effort and if you put the effort in it. So they've done a lot of research with this, where they have seen that students have really performed if they see that they have, you know, this growth mindset. Instead of thinking that their ability is fixed, like I won't be able to, you know, like this is it and I can't learn more. Instead of doing that, having that mindset that says I can put an effort and I can increase my ability or my performance. So, you know, it definitely would take some work to do that. But again, your students already have demonstrated that they can do this. It's just that it's going to require more time invested into it. So, you know, and all of these things kind of relate to each other. And again, this is a model by, and I can put later I can send you later the link about a paper written on how to turn adolescents into learners. And, you know, all of these factors, you can see how kind of they work into each other. But it would be good also to acquire some of these learning strategies that will support their mindset and their perseverance and their behavior. So like we have an office on campus that is the office of, I'm sorry, the University Center for Academic Excellence, where they offer a lot of workshops in developing study skills and test taking skills and goal setting and time management. So I'll definitely encourage you to ask your students to take advantage of those resources. Just give me a minute here. So how can you help your student develop these non-cognitives? You know, some of the research suggests that you praise effort and not talent. I mean, I have made that mistake with my own kids where I said, oh, you're so smart, you can do this. Well, guess what? If for some reason they don't do well on a test, then they start thinking, well, I must not be that smart. Instead of you saying, you know, hey, you need to work hard, or you work hard to this, or you know, I like you, you have improved with respect to the other one. So then there's always that possibility of increasing that ability instead of saying, oh, you're really smart and you can do this. Again, that power of not yet. Maybe you didn't do so well this time, but you can do better next time. And normalize the difficulty and depersonalize the challenges. Like I said, it is, everybody in engineering will experience at some point or another where there are courses that are hard, that they will require work. So it's not you, it's not that you cannot do it. Is, you know, it is a challenge. They're challenging programs and they require work, and your student may see grades that they have never seen before. But again, it's not necessarily about them. So in order to enhance those non-cognitives, you want to encourage your student to set goals, because if you, again, in order to do that delay gratification, you need to know where you're going. Okay, I want to get that degree that is going to be so great. So having that goal and setting up strategies to achieve them will help them with that delay gratification. And other things that can help with that is participating in experiential learning, like internships and co-ops or undergraduate research, because those things will help you say, okay, I'm working really hard right now, but it's going to be worth it because of what I'm going to be doing, or maybe the money that I'm going to be making, but that's not all. And surround yourself with people that have the same interests that you have, or just, or have, you know, I don't know if you want to call it Missouri Likes Company or whatever, but you know, if they enroll in the MAPS program, they're going to be with upperclassmen that can tell them more about what is required to be successful in engineering. You know, the We Engage, which is a program for women in engineering, again, will help them connect with other women that will have the same interest and demands on their schedules that they have. And similarly with the multicultural engineers, they also have industry mentors that can show the students you know, what kind of things maybe they went through when they were in college, and what kind of things will they be doing in industry. So it's a good way to keep that goal in front of you, reminding you why you're doing what you're doing. And we also have other clubs and things on campus that, again, that would increase that motivation and keep you, you know, focus on your goal, like the rocketry team and the robotics team, and all of these programs. You know, you get that sense of belonging, that I'm at the right place, and you know, and having, and then do it, that we're all in this kind of facing the same obstacles. It's also good if they can become tutors or mentors, because again, you get a reward by knowing, oh, I learned this course really well, so now I can help somebody else, or I made it through this first year, so now I can help somebody else. And again, that kind of increases your confidence and your desire to continue and pursue in engineering. And like I said, the UCAE kind of have a lot of workshops that help you develop those skills like time management, study skills, and test taking skills, and a variety of things that they can take advantage of. So definitely encourage your students to do that. So these are, like I said, some of the programs I mentioned, like the MAPS program and Engage Me and We Engage and the Freshman Learning Community. And I just wanted to briefly show you this because I already talked about them. And the Center for Academic Excellence, or UCAE, that's where they offer a lot of tutoring and a lot of these workshops, and they have other programs that encourage study group formation that will help the students as they try to pursue their degrees and get to know other students in the college. The Writing Resources Center will help students with their writing, and they'll help at any time, not only when you already finish your paper, but you can go there at any stage of your writing process. And the Career Center, again, will help students if they're trying to decide on a major, but also when they're looking for those jobs or their internships, and again, try to keep that goal and that motivation going. So I just wanted to, just give you an overview, but I want to give more time for you to ask questions, and I'm also going to answer some of the questions that that you posted earlier. So without much to do, this is the end of my presentation. And just feel free to email me if you have other questions after the presentation. But let me just now address some of the questions that I saw on your list. One of the questions I had was what lab facilities are open to freshman students? I went in on our banner system and I saw that a lot of our labs are going to be offered online in the fall. And our faculty have really become creative with a lot of these things. They have a lot of simulations, or others have, like, the professor will perform the experiment and then they will send the data to the students, and the students will do the reports and the analysis. Again, we are trying to balance safety against the experience of the student. When they come back, when we get out of this situation, our programs are extremely hands-on. Students do things all the way from the freshman year to the senior year where they have a lot of labs that they can take advantage of. So I'm hoping that that answers that question. Another question that was asked was what are some of the recommended laptop or computer types? We have a link on our website that have a very good description of the computers that we need, that we require on our, for engineering. And they might be the requirements might be a little higher than other computers, because again, some of the software our students use, like CAD or other of the simulations in electrical, require a lot of memory and good graphic card. So you can look at that description of the computer in there. And Sherman, if at any time you want to intervene, please do so. And then how will hands-on engineering courses be impacted due to COVID-19? You know, like Ken mentioned earlier, we are trying to balance safety with the experience of a student, but our faculty are becoming very creative on how to do things. I know in some of the labs, what they're doing is they're reducing the capacity, and it may be then that a student may have to come you know, on Saturdays. I know I've heard them talk about this. So they may have put a different schedule so they can have smaller groups of students doing their labs or their hands-on work. You know, for a lot of the courses, we're also trying to offer hybrid courses. So students will do some things on campus and some things online, you know, so they still will have that opportunity to do hands-on with our courses. So at what point will students work with a College of Engineering advisor or switch to a specific department major advisor? So we are in the process right now of assigning advisors. Some of your students have already been assigned an advisor. And then in terms of the departmental advisor, that is when the students complete their freshman curriculum, then they're moved into a department and they get a departmental advisor. But Sherman, it looks like you want to add something to that, or not, or maybe not.
Well, yes, there are a lot of questions about advising, and there's some in the in the Q&A area as well. But yes, listening to your academic advisor becomes very, very key. That is one of the relationships that I think is, I really look back at my experience and see that the advising relationship was most important. And right now, as an academic advisor, I see how I can really assist students in understanding what they need to do and how to be successful. So I really encourage students, as Dr. Blatt has mentioned, to really work with your academic advisor. Start that relationship early. Do not be afraid to meet with your academic advisor, say in the first couple of weeks of the semester. Um, if you wait until the end of the semester or the middle part of the semester, we lose the opportunity to establish the relationship. And a lot of this relationship is about trust, and we want you to trust us. So please come by and talk with us. Okay. All right, Kathy.
Right. So who's the best person? I think Sherman answered that. And who is the best person for incoming freshman engineering students to contact if they need assistance with fall schedule changes? You know, again, they will be assigned an advisor, but if not, they can email coe-advising@uncc.edu, and they will be contacted about making changes. You know, a lot of those changes may be related to your AP courses or your transfer courses that may have come in, because until we have those showing in Banner, we do not know if those courses were really completed or not. So we wait until they show up in our transcript, so then you can register for the following courses. So that would be a good time for a student to contact an advisor, and they can do it through coe-advising@uncc.edu. So do you think the College of Engineering is more or less prepared than other areas of the university for the hybrid methods of instruction delivery planned for the fall? I mean, I don't know about other areas. I know that our university in general has put tremendous effort into getting all of us ready to do hybrid and online courses. You know, a lot of my personal staff, like Sherman and other instructors, have, you know, they're participating in a lot of workshops. A lot of them have mentors that are guiding them on, you know, and giving them feedback on their planned online or hybrid courses. I mean, I took there was an online course on Canvas, which is our learning management system. So we are definitely getting very prepared for the fall on that, and we have a lot of assistance with that. They're also helping us a lot with the technology, you know, like getting the right cameras and the right microphones and the right things. So there is a complete effort from the university to get us all ready to face these challenges. And again, probably I'm just gonna say it anyway. Probably we're better prepared in terms that a lot of our engineers' minds are innovators, so they're coming up with really cool ideas on how to present things. And we have some of our instructors are even teaching right now fully online in the summer, like Sherman and Mr. McNeil. They're doing that, so they're already getting experience. You know, more than what we had to do in the spring when it was very short and people didn't have time to plan and prepare. So what are some of the supplies they'll need for the courses? Again, what students really going to need for the fall are laptops, good cameras, good you know, headphones or microphones, because there will be several online classes, you know, and definitely that will be the main kind of supplies the students will need. Is what I can anticipate for now. Besides, you know, maybe the regular school supplies that you may have gotten before, like paper and pencils and other things. But really, definitely, it is the time to do some good investment in a laptop. I also had this other question. My son's coming this fall. Can all of his classes be online? Yes. The only class right now that is not fully online is our Intro to Engineering course, our Intro to Engineering Technology and Construction Management. Our university really wanted our freshmen to have face-to-face contact because it is challenging already to come in the freshman year. So they really wanted us to have some opportunities to have some face-to-face. So our courses are going to be hybrid. Again, all of that is based on the information we have today, but we may have to switch to other things. But again, we offer this course in the spring, and the same with other courses. If for some reason they're not offered fully online, students can take it in the spring. And we also have summer classes. So there will be other opportunities for students to get caught up if for some reason the course they're looking for is not offered online. But we would love to just see you face to face if the conditions allow it. And I think I answered some of like what courses can we expect to take during the first year. I show you the academic plans for the engineering and the engineering technology and construction management. I mean, basically they're going to take a math, they're going to be seeing physics, and they're going to have you know, liberal studies and writing, and you know, of course, the intro to engineering. And then in the second semester will be the follow-up on that with their specific majors. So that's kind of like an overview. And again, if you just go into the UNCC website and Google academic plans, you will find a page where it has the academic plans for all the majors in the university, if you want to look into more detail. But the students will be learning more about those when they come to SOAR. So I don't know, Sherman, if you want to address any other questions that may be out there.
Yes, I will. Here's a good question. It says, when will a good time be to get involved with MAPS, the robotics team, and other activities? My suggestion is that students get involved with MAPS early. I am involved with Engage Me. I'm the Associate Director of Engage Me, our Multicultural Engineers program, as well as an academic advisor. And for Engage Me, one of the first steps we ask students to take is to join MAPS. MAPS is a great program, definitely during the face-to-face environment, but they've also incorporated a virtual MAPS program as well. So it's a peer-to-peer program. I think Kathy kind of touched on that. It's a coaching program. for students. And you really get great tips about how to become a very good student, how to improve your success rate in the College of Engineering. And I would say get involved in MAPS in the first semester, or if you can't sign up for it in the first semester, you're at UNC Charlotte, do so the second semester. Now, the question about the other activities, during the first semester and really the first year, we want students to focus on becoming good students. Kathy covered that we have minimum GPA requirements in order to matriculate into your disciplines. We want students to get to that point. We need for you to become a sophomore in the program. And sometimes we do see students overextending themselves during the first year, and very often it results in unfavorable situations. So my suggestion is to focus during the first year on your academics, and then you'll figure out how to work in some of those extracurricular activities. Okay. And here's another good question, Kathy. It says, when must students finally declare their major?
Do you want me to answer that?
Yes, you can.
Well,
Yeah, go
I
ahead
mean,
and I'll look at
normally students, after they finish their first year, I mean, all the courses in what we call the freshman curriculum, they can go into their departments, you know, but again, they have to meet the GPA requirements. And so that would be, sometimes that is after 2 semesters, but sometimes it could be 3 semesters if depending on the math level where the student started. Again, they're allowed 3 semesters to do that. But our students pretty much come into the major. I mean, we don't have like a general engineering major except students that may be undecided, like in other schools. I mean, you can come here into civil engineering, electrical engineering, or civil technology, electrical technology. But after 1 year is when you're moved, or you complete the requirements of that first year is when you're moving to your department.
And here's another question, and I really don't know the answer to this one, but can we tour the College of Engineering area at move-in? We've never been to campus before.
Again, I don't know based on, if we would have to wait and see how the things are in September, but I know we have some really good video. I know it's not the same, but on our website, there's some good video tours of our buildings. So you're welcome to, in the meantime, look at those. Then when, you know, when we come back on campus, I know that the Dean of Students Office is planning on during a week that we call Gold Rush, a couple of weeks, to to at least show the students where their classes are. They're going to do small groups. So, you know, that may help also, at least to identify the buildings where we are. Again, we are just playing it by ear at this point. But you can also, you know, once you come here, you can ask us that question again, because I know sometimes mechanical, they'll be glad to show their labs, or even civil, if we can find an upper level students. I mean, they've done tours when I have asked them for students that are looking into coming into our institution. So so just kind of ask that question, have your student ask that question again when they come back to campus, and we may be able to find a way to provide a tour.
Very good. Here's another question. In terms of summer breaks, is it more advantageous for students to seek out engineering internships or complete more coursework? This is a very good question, and something we deal with pretty much every spring semester. And that question, or the answer, really depends on the student's performance in their academics prior to that point. It really depends. We have a freshman progression requirement for each discipline, and it depends on where that student is in terms of their progression requirements, if we would suggest taking courses during the summer or if pursuing an internship would be better.
Well, and remember, you have 2 summers really. So it may be that one summer you're doing, especially when after your first year, a lot of companies prefer to have people that had completed their sophomore year before they offer them internships. So, so maybe that first summer you just take classes, and then the second summer that you're here, you apply for an the student may apply for an internship. The other good thing is with Charlotte being an urban area, we do have some students that, you know, are doing internships and are in school at the same time. You know, again, you have to make sure that you do it. You're not going to take 18 credit hours and do an internship, but you know, but that's we have had some students that have done that, or even they did an internship in the summer and the company wanted to keep them through, and they give them less hours in the fall. So the good thing about us being in an urban area is that sometimes you can still do internships even while you're going to school.
And that's it on
All right.
our side here for as far as the questions that I see. Here we go. Well, Lindsay may have something.
Yeah, we have just a question, I guess, about social media, but I think for that one, I would answer that like everyone's department does social media a bit differently. So if you want to keep up with new student and family services social media, I highly recommend you follow UNCCNSFS for updates about SOAR and Gold Rush and general welcome programs for all students throughout the fall semesters. So just a plug for that. But thank you, Kathy and Sherman. I think that you all did a great job today. We got a lot of awesome information. So for those that are here today, if you missed something or want to rewatch this webinar, it is going to be on YouTube next week. So keep an eye out for that. Or if you have a lot of any friends that are also in engineering and just want to check this out, share that with them. But if that's it, I think I would just say thank you so much to our 2 presenters and to all of the attendees for today.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming to our presentation.
Perfect. I hope everyone has
Thank
a
you.
good day. Yep. Awesome. Well, goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Welcome to Niner Nation.
Yes, welcome.